What's up YouTube? So we're going to do a quick installation today on this 2018 Toyota Camry. We're going to be installing some BC coilovers on it. First things first, we're going to take out the wheels. We got a 21mm socket. Once we have the wheel off, we're going to go ahead and remove this 14mm right here. Now we're going to go ahead and hit these two 22mm right here. All right, now we got a 17mm on here. So we're gonna take off the end link bolt. And take this guy off, take that guy off. Just gotta love tap it out, that's it. Top part, we're gonna loosen 3 bolts. These are gonna be 14mm. You know, 1, 2, and 3. I also forgot to mention to you guys, this has to come out. It's usually in here, but you can honestly just get a flathead and pull it out, or just pull it straight out. The bolts are off on top, and all we're gonna do now is pretty much just get this guy a tug, and it should come right off. Got the assembly out from over here. Took about like 10 minutes to do. Now we're gonna come grab our coilover, and you want to make sure you grab the right side. The way how you tell is it's gonna say on here FR, front right. And if it was the left, it'll be FL. All right, make sure you have this plate facing towards you like this. When you go and install it, that's gonna be the correct orientation for the side. The process is to put the nuts on top first. Then down here, what I like to do, get this centered with this. I'm gonna get my jack, gonna apply pressure right here. It's gonna force this whole assembly up into this area so we can put our bolts back in. All right, so as you can see, we got the bolts on, top and bottom. We got this 14 on. This one, I'm gonna show you guys a trick on how to get this lined up. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. This is back on. Don't tighten these up all the way. Tighten these up once we put the end link back in. So what you're gonna wanna do is have the jack in the same place still, and all we're gonna do is just jack it up. That's all we're doing. See how it's getting closer to that? So go ahead and keep jacking it just a little bit more. And boom, the end link is now back in. And so what I like to do is pretty much tighten this bolt down finger tight as much as I can while you can apply pressure and tighten it down. Because if you try to tighten it down later on, it might spin on you, this end link. So to avoid that, I have this bolt pretty much tightened down all the way, finger tight. And then my trick is, once you let go of this, now there's pressure on that bolt. So now you can tighten that bolt and it's not gonna turn while you're tightening it. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is pretty much tighten up all the bolts from the bottom up. Once I tighten up all the bolts, I'll torque them to spec, put the wheel on. And that's pretty much it for the front, guys. This is how it's gonna look. Now let's go ahead and go to the back side now. What we're gonna do is pretty much put bricks on the front tires. That way the car doesn't roll back. Jack up the car on the rear on both sides. And we're gonna start taking off the wheels. All right, so for the rears, we have the wheel off, of course. The first thing we're taking off is this 12mm right here. We're going to be using a ratcheting wrench, or you can use a regular wrench to get that off. Got that off now. Next thing we're going to be doing is taking off this bolt right here. So on this side, it's going to be a 14mm, and on this side, it's going to be a 17mm. Also note, when you're trying to take this off, once you get the bolt out, this right here is going to shoot up pretty fast, so be careful, okay? Just like that, of course, this shot up. So just be very careful. You don't have to like put pressure or anything like that. Just be careful whenever you're doing this. Don't put your hand up here or anything like that. The next bolt we're gonna be doing is right here. This is gonna be for the lower control arm. Same thing, this is gonna bolt down once you take it off. 14mm on this side, and then on this side there is a 17mm nut. Last thing we're gonna be doing is taking off this 22mm bolt back here, and this holds together the actual strut right here. So once we get that 22mm out, we're going to take out these two 17mm that are up here. The easiest way to do this is getting a close-in wrench like that, put it on there, get another wrench, and then you're pretty much going to do this right here. What this does is it allows you pretty much to have extra torque on it using this. That way when you push it up, you have more torque to remove that bolt, because it's kind of a tight area. You can't really put a ratchet back there. So I'm going to take this off real quick, and then we'll go on to our next step. All right, so we've got it loose already. and it comes out pretty easy. Make sure you get that washer off as well. You're gonna need it. So here comes the really fun part. What we're gonna have to do is get a flathead right here. Basically what we're gonna do is pretty much pry this guy up like so. Get this cap off like that. Once you get that top hat off, we're gonna be taking off this 17mm nut. Now I know what you guys are thinking, get the impact and hit it, but let me show you what happens if you do that. That rotates the whole assembly. So what you're gonna need is this pass-through socket set. This allows you to put the 17mm over the bolt, and you can also put an Allen key in there to hold the middle part so it's not gonna rotate on you. That's pretty much how you get that nut out. And what happens is, ta-da, this separates from it. You're gonna need this part because it goes on the top part of the BC coilover strut assembly. And we have our assembly put back together. From here, we're just going to pretty much reverse install. All right, we got our strut put back in already. Again, the bolts are loosened. We don't tie anything up until everything is locked into place. I actually almost forgot, but we need to put our spring in also. That's pretty easy. I mean, all you gotta do really is push down on this and literally just put that in place, and then yeah, it should line up just like that. As you can see, there's like a stopping boot like right here. You want that spring to be pretty much stopped up against that, and then vice versa as well up here. Go ahead and get our jack, and now we're gonna jack this up. Got this bolt pretty much lined up with the lower control arm. And now we're pretty much going to hit this in. And keep that in the same place. Keep jacking up on it. As you can see, it's going up. It's going up. To get right here, you can pretty much try to like force it in like that. Only thing is you're gonna be finding that spring tension. And then pretty much put the bolt through. Everything is put back together. Bolts are tied down, torque to spec. And yeah, so what we're gonna do now is put the wheels on the car, drop it, and then we're gonna go ahead and see where everything is at height wise, and then we'll go ahead and start making our adjustments to the coilovers.